Planning a fishing trip shouldn't feel like a full-time job. With FishingBooker.com, you can find and book the perfect fishing trip within minutes. FishingBooker.com connects you with trusted fishing captains around the world. Booking is fast, easy, and secure, with access to verified customer reviews, loyalty rewards, and around-the-clock customer support. Everything you need to book with confidence is in one place. So head to FishingBooker.com and start planning your next fishing adventure today.
This episode is brought to you by Netflix. The MLB at Field of Dreams returns. Bryce Harper and the Philadelphia Phillies face Byron Buxton and the Minnesota Twins at the iconic Field of Dreams ballpark. The field is calling. Watch the MLB at Field of Dreams game live on Netflix Thursday, August 13th at 7:30 p.m. Eastern, 4:30 p.m. Pacific.
Welcome back to the Survival with Basic Badass podcast. Kevin and Chuck. Today we're going to talk about gangland. Gangs, organized crime. Usually when people think of gangs, or actually usually when people think of organized crime, they think Italian mob, mafia, but gangs are pretty organized these days. And I'm talking about your street gangs, your whatever, but I'm also talking about organizations of people. Mm-hmm. You know, your biker gangs, your whatever. They can actually become a fearsome force. Mm-hmm. Now, there are things like Antifa and things that we might come across and run into today. What is it? MS-13, different things like that. These things might affect your world right now, the way the world is. Mm-hmm. But also, your world may kind of change, you know, if one of these, you know, horrible events that preppers are always worried about happens. You know, gangs are usually pretty quick to jump in. One of the things that comes to mind is Rodney King. And
that's right.
You know, it didn't take long for the world to fall apart. Yeah. And, you know, all the riots and the craziness, you know, every time election day rolls around, depending on the political climate, you run the risk.
And what was his name? Reginald Denny.
The guy with the 18-wheeler?
Yeah. I mean, he found himself in a situation where he was outnumbered. And trapped. And, you know, really the point of this podcast is to either
prepare.
Yeah, be prepared for that sort of situation.
Yeah, we're not going to necessarily talk about gangs and this color means that, and this and that and the other thing. We're going to talk about how it actually affects you in your life and what you need to be aware of. Because guess what? People who are organized can be a real threat.
Right. And when the black market skyrockets, those are going to be the people that are running it.
Turns out when law enforcement goes away, that's when people who work outside the law really tend to thrive. You know, I mean, that's basically how it works. The other thing that seems to really be an asset for these gangs and groups like this is they tend to have like communities. I know, like in Poughkeepsie, New York, we have the way it's like a smaller city, the way it's set up, there are whole blocks where you'll just have Mexicans that live. And, you know, the next block over, it'll just be, you know, African American, whatever, you know, so you have all these people. And I didn't realize this. I work in the city all day long and whatever, drive up and down these streets. And I'm talking to a Mexican lady, and she's telling me, oh, my husband works 3 blocks that way, and he can't walk home from work because he has to walk through the black blocks, and they'll all kick his ass. And he got the shit beat out of him, you know, the other day, she's telling me. And she's like, you know, it's all very territorial. But I guess what I mean is, they already have a secure area kind of already set up. So when the infrastructure goes away, they're protecting their own. They don't have to worry about somebody knocking on their door and robbing them.
Right.
Because that's their neighbors and their people, and they're already set up to take care of their own. And to be honest, everyone around knows that they're there taking care of their own.
Right.
And that has real value.
It really does. And honestly, I think the communities that in the urban areas that would last longest in one of these situations would be these close-knit ethnic communities. You know, the Italians did it, the Irish did it.
Yep.
You know, and these groups held together. You know, even a lot of the Jewish communities.
Yes.
You know, these groups held together and held their own by protecting each other and standing up for each other.
You know, it's that whole strength in numbers thing.
Right.
You know, people really used to take care of themselves. I mean, to be honest, nobody, you know, seems to go to church anymore. Mm-hmm. But that's a community of people who take care of each other. Now, usually the downside to a church community, especially as we get in the bigger, you know, world, they're so sparse and spread out that people aren't all going to the same church, and you're not in that block.
Right.
It's nice to have an infrastructure of people you can count on, and it might be great people that you can set up preps with and whatever. Mm-hmm. But geography also comes into play.
Into play, right.
Now, if you all go shelter at the church and set up there, that could be huge. Mm-hmm. And that, in a way, you're forming a gang and a gang of protection if that's, you know, the way you decided to incorporate that. Mm-hmm. You know, if, you know, economic collapse or whatever, and all of a sudden, you know, everything shuts down and services shut down and grocery stores aren't being restocked, setting up a community and organized at your church. Now, do you feel that you could work with your church like that? Would people really be honest and share and whatever? And if they're not, maybe you should be rethinking your church. I mean, that's the thing. Is it a group of close-knit people that you would find to be valuable assets to each other? Or is it, you know, a bunch of your friends' parents who, you know, are 80 years old and, you know, don't do anything? No, sometimes there's wisdom and knowledge there, and sometimes there's not.
Yeah, right.
You know what I found out, actually, is just because you're old does not mean that you're wise.
Yeah, you know, you're right.
I used to think, you have to respect your elders
most of
and
the
be
people,
nice.
Yeah, most of the people that I meet that have gray hair are wise, intelligent people. Okay. But not all of them.
Not all of them.
Some of them are dumbasses.
There's some dumbasses out there, so just putting that out there, just in case that's where you're looking for wisdom. I
want to do a quick run through of like maybe different types of organizations that you might have to deal with in a end of the world type of situation. All right. So let's just do a quick run through of some of these.
Is it the Guardian Angels?
Groups. Well, there's some angels on this list,
but not the.
But
Guardians.
It's not the Guardian Angels.
Okay.
All right.
Because Curtis Lewa and the Berets, and
So
maybe only New Yorkers know what I'm talking about. I don't know.
No, that's all right.
Moving right along.
So I think that the organizations that are going to fare the best in a, you know, maybe an EMP attack or an economic collapse would be drug cartels. Oh. Honestly, they're well organized. They have a lot of money, and basically they're already prepared for this.
Yeah, but what if
this is what they do?
The pagers stop working?
Well, I'm talking about cartels.
Oh, okay.
Not gangbangers.
Okay.
They're heavily armed. You know, and a lot of these people, these organizations are off the grid already.
Yeah.
So they're going to be self-sustaining. You know, they have money, but, you know, obviously cash doesn't mean a whole lot, but it doesn't mean a whole lot to them either because they've got so many. A lot of these cartels make $20 billion a year.
That's a lot of money.
El Chapo's cartel was bringing in $20 billion a year. They're not just stacking it up in a room somewhere. They're spending money on protection, bodyguards, firearms, you know, and I'm talking about heavy firearms,
not just hookers,
not like AK-47s. Well, hookers and blow are in there, but when you got $20 billion, You know,
got money for hookers, and
right,
and gold AK-47s.
Right.
All right.
And their manpower is actually skilled. You know what I mean? They have people that are assassins. They have people that are informants. They have people that are all levels.
They have a network of
right.
people to deal with and people who bring in supplies. You know, I mean, just having, you know, you imagine these are people who can smuggle in things in and out. They already have a structure set up.
Mm-hmm.
And sometimes when the world kind of collapses as we know it, that doesn't mean their world's collapsing, you know?
Right. The one good thing about drug cartels is they're not interested in your canned food in your basement. You know,
really?
They're not going to be somebody that's going out of their way house to house. So I think they're going to be just fine on their own. And you don't have to worry about them as much.
I think cartels, you're right. Mm-hmm. But then when we talk about gangbangers, that's a different thing.
Well, let's talk about street gangs right now.
All right, street gangs. Game on.
They're organized. They have a structure, a hierarchy.
Yes. Loyalty.
Mm-hmm. Right. Loyalty. And they're interested in your shit. You know, they're not planning for, not being able to go to the grocery store. They're planning on taking what they want when they want it and from whoever they can get it from. So I think a lot, especially in urban areas, I think that this is something that some of the urban preppers really need to pay attention to.
Yeah.
You know? And they're prepared in the sense that they have an organization with tiers, with people with specific jobs. They may not be prepared to, close their doors to their house and survive for 3 months.
Right.
But they're prepared in the sense that they're in the community and they have their fingers in different things.
And sadly, they're not afraid of the brutality, typically.
That's right.
And that's a hard adjustment for people who live the typical day-to-day life. You know, in the back of your mind, you know, they always say the normalcy bias.
Mm-hmm.
You know, it's hard to transition into a world of brutality, you know, the strong man wins kind of thing. These people have been living in that world.
Right.
They're already there.
Right.
And that changes things.
They've been in fights. They know what a fight deals with, you know, what a fight comes to. Let me just run through like the MS-13, the gang hierarchy there, just as an example. First, they have the Council of Nine.
Oh.
I looked this up. I couldn't find any of the names of the Council of Nine. But it's basically 9 members that make all the major decisions. After that is the clique leaders. Now,
you'd think they'd do 13.
You know?
Council of 13.
Yeah, that's not how it works. All
right, sorry, my mistake.
Clique leaders basically run neighborhoods. You know, they're the, you know, block by block type of leaders there. After that is the finance and special ops. Finance basically is they don't make a whole lot of money, but they are basically keeping track of where the money's coming from and who it's going to.
Okay.
Special ops is basically what you would think it would be. Basically, assassinations is what special ops does. And they're in charge of the hired assassins, which is the next tier. Now, when you get out-of-town people, that's where you get them from. You know, out of town, they would hire somebody from a different city to come to their city to kill somebody and then get the fuck out of town, you know? So you can't track these down. After that is the extortion and the menial labor. Basically, the menial labor is grocery shopping for the gangs. I mean, they still have to do the everyday things. Now, if you're in this tier in MS-13, you're only making $40 a week.
Oh.
That you have a salary. Apparently, you got a salary, and you only make $40 a week for doing all this stuff, so you got to have another job.
Unless you can live on $40 a week.
Mm-hmm. And the last tier...
There's one below the $40
Yes.
a week. All right.
These are basically the informants. Now, it's important when you have an organization like this to have your fingers out in the community.
Feelers.
You know what's going on. Yeah, so they're going to be ready for these types of things beforehand. And I think that, I think it's important to look at these groups not just as like raving lunatics that are, high on PCP.
Right.
But, an organized group. You might get into a gunfight and win the gunfight with somebody that's trying to break into your house. But then you might end up dealing with another 30 people coming over there to find out what happened. Mm-hmm. So when it comes to these types of groups, you kind of want to be diplomatic in a way, if you can be. You don't want to be a target. Now, one of the other organizations in a more rural area is rednecks and hillbillies is what I've got down. But really what I'm talking about is the big families, There's big families that are running crystal meth and
moonshine
and different things, groups that you don't want to cross. But it's really more of a specific geography with that,
Appalachia.
Well, Appalachia, I lived out in East St. Louis, and
you had your share of rednecks?
There was definitely a good share of meth addicts that were, that were down. They were down.
Yeah.
They were already missing their front teeth. They weren't scared of a fist fight. The next one I want to talk about is biker gangs.
Oh, Sons of Anarchy?
Sons of Anarchy.
All right.
Yeah. Now the Hell's Angels is
the Hell's Angels.
that's like the quintessential bikers gang, right? And I looked up who the president was. Nobody knows. Yep. Then they've got the vice president, the treasury, full patch members, sergeant at arms, honorary members, and prospects. Now, if you're out riding a bike, that's your jam. You got a leather jacket. You got patches.
Leather jacket.
Don't have 3 patches.
No.
Top rocker, bottom rocker, and your centerpiece. Don't do that shit unless you're approved by the Hell's Angels, because they'll yank you off your bike and they'll rip patches off your coat, and maybe, if you're lucky, they won't kick the shit out of you. Maybe. You have to get approval. Did you know that? You have to get approval from the Hells Angels to have 3 patches on your vest? Just saying. All right, so that's basically the run-through of some of the organizations. And the things with biker gangs is they're mobile, They're armed. They're accustomed to fighting. And, if they spot you on the road and food is scarce, they'll run your car off the road.
You just come out of Subway.
Mm-hmm.
You got a big sub.
Sub. They're eating it. And they're going to grab your girl's ass, and there's nothing you can do about it. Maybe nothing. And we can get into talking about that in a minute.
Really?
Mm-hmm.
All right. Well, actually, earlier in the podcast, we mentioned Rodney King.
Mm-hmm.
Are we done with the types of gangs?
That's it.
Right. I don't want to overstep here. So we mentioned Rodney King. And, so basically, this guy's driving his truck along, his 18-wheeler, not Rodney King.
Was Reginald Denny.
Reginald.
Yeah, I think
so. Reggie's just driving along, happy. I'm in my 18-wheeler, cool. Then there's all these people out in the street.
Blocking the roads, right? Couldn't go forward, couldn't go back.
He's like, I can't run him over because normalcy bias.
Right.
And because it turns out felony.
Yeah.
There's that.
Apparently there are a lot of cases of people being panicked and running people over in these situations. Never works out as far as legally wise.
As far as legally.
Right.
Now, we're not saying no.
Better to be judged by 9 than carried by 6, right?
That sounds right.
Mm-hmm.
But basically this guy, big 18-wheeler, clearly could have got away.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, could have if he had stepped on the gas and just drove over people.
And
he wouldn't have had his head smashed in with a brick.
I mean, that's something there. So, all right, Antifa,
right?
They like to have these rallies and stop people and just block intersections. And I've seen quite a few videos on YouTube of people, smashing on the cars, breaking glass,
right.
Scratching them up, denting them up, kicking the cars.
Mm-hmm. And honestly, that's a good case situation.
Yeah.
Having your car scratched up, it's just a car, It's not the kids in the back seat. It's not your wife getting dragged out of the car. And a lot of these situations, they're just trying to make their voices heard, and so they're being destructive and disruptive. And sometimes that can get carried away to being violent. But sometimes that's not, being disruptive isn't the main goal,
There's some hate out there. So, that's definitely a thing. And at first, when I wanted to do this podcast, that was kind of one of the things I was thinking about is, what do you tell your wife? What do you tell your daughters, your sons out there? They're driving. What do you do when you come up to bad? And the more I looked into it, there's not a lot you can do.
It's a bad situation.
So the first thing I would say is you guys really need to be alert and aware of what's going on in your community.
Right.
You need to be aware of, hey, this rally, this protest, these people are upset. This is going on. These people are downtown. And your first move is to really just stay away. To keep your friends and your family away.
Right.
Because it can turn ugly fast.
Mm-hmm.
And even if we can talk you through getting out of it alive, the legal consequences, there's a lot of ugliness that comes with it.
Right.
So, first, like I said, you want to be aware of what's going on and hopefully avoid it. Then maybe kind of look at the signs, look for the blocked up traffic and what's going on there. Is it just a car accident? Is it whatever? Mm-hmm. Or is there something more going on?
Right. And paying attention to the news and paying attention to the newspapers, it has a lot to do with that. You might be able to know ahead of time, what's going to be going on in a certain situation.
So there was that other guy in, Alabama?
Charlottesville.
Mm-hmm. Now, he just got sentenced. Who was that?
James Fields. Now,
this guy seemed like he intentionally wanted to hurt people, is what it sounded like.
Yeah, according to the court records and the testimonies and that sort of thing, he was sitting at the other end of the road, parked, and decided that he was going to drive that way instead of any other way, which is always a bad move.
That's a bad move.
Yeah.
Yeah. One, you're an idiot.
Mm-hmm.
Two, the legal consequences are insanely severe.
Mm-hmm.
As well they should be for intentional
vehicular homicide.
But even more than that, when you're surrounded by 40 Antifa people blocking up the street and you make the wrong turn and you end up in the middle of a rally,
mm-hmm.
All these people are going to say, yeah, this guy just accelerated and,
mm-hmm.
Crashed into us. We were all just standing there peaceably protesting. No, we only smashed, beer bottles into his car after he ran over somebody.
Mm-hmm.
Then we got...
What surprises me is that he actually was able to not get beat to death afterwards.
Yeah. That really is a feat
mm-hmm.
on its own. So, all right. So you're in the car. You missed all the signs. You got pushed in the thing. Or maybe you just came out of dropping your child support payment off at the courthouse.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know what the fuck people do at courthouses.
Yeah, I don't know what the hell happens there.
You just paid your traffic ticket.
Right.
And
you just slipped a note to a plaintiff that you've got their daughter tied up in a basement.
Exactly. Whatever the normal things you do. You're doing your day-to-day.
Not guilty.
Not guilty. And you come out, you get in your car, and you pull out of the courthouse, And sure enough, while you were inside, an angry group got out because of some court decision, some cop who looked at somebody the wrong way, and now they're pissed, and they're going to make things right by smashing the cars of anybody driving by.
Right.
Because that's how things play out.
Mm-hmm.
So you're in your car. They're all there. They're gathered around. They have no intention of... Now, as you approach a situation like this, not slowing down to a ridiculously slow speed is sometimes your safest move.
Mm-hmm. Sometimes.
And I'm not talking about accelerating through and running people over. I'm saying not inviting people to come and block your way.
Now let me just rephrase what you just said. Just in other words, if you're driving a Ford Focus,
okay,
and you drive full speed into a crowd of people, you're not going to drive out the other side of that crowd of people.
And you're going to prison.
Right. So not slowing down as best you can by avoiding running people over, best bet. Once you're in that situation.
Because once you get to that, because if they feel like they can step in front of you and not get dead.
Right.
They're going to probably do it.
Right.
If they're like, oh, this guy's going 20, I want to step out and block him, but I kind of don't want to get hit by a car going 20 either.
Mm-hmm.
That's kind of the neighborhood we're talking about here.
Mm-hmm.
This is all bad advice, and you know how we said in every episode somebody might get killed?
Yeah.
This is probably
where you die.
Section, but basically it's a forum and a discussion.
Right.
And that's what we're having here.
These are all hypotheticals.
Hypotheticals. Holy crap, there's a dog in here.
It should be all right.
All right.
Mm-hmm.
Then I think your next move, all right, they've stopped your car.
All right, your car is now stopped. You're not going anywhere.
They're pounding on the glass.
Right.
Your adrenaline's rushing. Things are bad.
All right, first step, you don't want to get out of the car.
Do you roll down your window and be like, hey, buddy, you got a light?
I can tell you that if you crack your window open, it'll be less likely to break than if you have it fully rolled up.
Yeah, that's your rule.
So crack your window if you can.
Kevin's cracking the window.
And then tell them that you hate white people through the cracked window.
The ban! Down with the ban!
I hate Nazis. Blend in the best you can. Be on their side, right? Work yourself towards the periphery if you have to get out of your car.
All right. I actually wasn't even gonna get out of the car. I'm not even at that point yet. But I would say if they drag me out of the car because they smashed the window, pulled the door handle from the inside, and I somehow shot everybody else in the face, and then
they're
the
still
rest of
coming
the
after
guys
you?
came after I went through the 4 or 5 magazines I have with me.
Mm-hmm.
Then when they drag me out of the car, I'm like, wait, let me just get my black hoodie out of the trunk. And I'm
at that
just
point,
here to protest.
At that point, it's too late to talk your way out of it.
You can't.
Yeah, I feel like I could talk my way through a meeting with Louis Farrakhan or David Duke. I feel like I could talk my way out of most situations, but sometimes, like, you know what they always say, never underestimate the stupidity of large groups of people.
Ooh.
You know what I mean? There's talking your way out
clever.
of it is not really going to be the way to deal with it.
No. So, like, I was actually, I was talking about this with my friend earlier this week, and I was, telling him what I'm thinking and whatever, and he had brought up that locally we just had a guy rear-ended a car with 4 city dwellers, we'll say.
All right.
Who, he got out, let's exchange information, I'm sorry, whatever. And they're like, grab a bat and I'm going to kill you. And come running at him. Guy's like, oh crap, jumps in his car, locks the door, and hits the gas and ends up like crashing into a car on the side of the street. And they got him kind of boxed in. Yeah. And they come over, and the guy's walking over with the bat. And they end up dragging him out and beating the crap out of him. But, so my boss is like, well, what would you do? You know? And I was like, well, remember, we live in New York. And so you kind of get past the obligation to retreat when this guy had no choice. He could not retreat.
Yeah, however, at that point, he's in his vehicle.
However, that said, these guys walking at you, they might turn around and you know, because they're all going to be like, yeah, we were just standing there and he started shooting at us.
Right.
And there's 3 of them alive or whatever that are going to be like, yep, he just killed our friend. We were on our way to Bible study and we don't know what happened.
Got into a car accident and he lost his mind and started shooting people.
Started shooting. Probably saw the color of our skin. You know? So, thing is, he's like, what do you do? So I said, well, I'd get my gun and I'd get it on the ready on my thigh there, kind of just sitting on my lap and waiting.
And
be honest, you don't want him to see it, but I also am not going to be the end of the world.
Yeah, maybe you want him to see it.
That's you. I'm good with that.
I've been in situations where I've walked up to somebody in their car
and flashed
and they had a gun on their passenger seat that they set on their lap, and I just decided to turn around and leave.
You're like, no, I don't want to ask you that question.
And let me just give you a real world scenario where this actually played out. I had a friend of mine that was
my story there.
Oh, go ahead. I'm sorry. Go ahead.
All right, and then we'll talk about your friend.
Yeah.
Okay. Unless he has better ideas than me. But, all right. So, anyway, they come up. I'm letting them come right to the glass. And as soon as somebody breaks the glass, I'm shooting that guy in the face.
Right.
Then, as more people approach, they're getting shot in the face. And, you know, because they duck down.
Right.
I was shooting for center mass. But when they ducked down
crouched,
to get out of the way, I couldn't help it. Hollow points.
So those eyes poking up over the window.
But then, as soon as the other 2 decide to run away in New York, you don't shoot them in the back. You can't shoot them in the back. Running away.
Yeah, now that's homicide
just
now,
a thought.
And you can't get out
now,
of it.
We're talking about in the city, surveillance cameras, whatever.
Right, you're being
other
watched.
Pedestrians.
How you behave is how you're going to be tried.
Now, this happens out in the woods.
Just kill everybody.
Nothing ever happened.
Everybody.
Everybody's going to die. Now, your friend, what happened?
He was coming through. I was talking about East St. Louis earlier. He was coming through East St. Louis, and he had the wrong skin color. And he was pulling a trailer full of tools. And he was just about out of gas, and he thought that East St. Louis would be the place to pull off and fill up on gas. Bad mistake. Pulled into a gas station, and as he pulled up, he saw that there was a car parked with some people leaning against it, and there's another car parked on the other end of the lot. And so he pulled up, swiped his card, and then one of the cars pulled up behind his trailer, and the other car pulled up in front of his truck, blocking his exit. So he said he put the gas nozzle back, got into his car, opened his glove box, and pointed the gun through the windshield. And the people in front of him just took the fuck off.
And they were probably just there to get some crackers or something.
He said, I didn't know what I was going to do, if I was going to start shooting through the windshield, but luckily it didn't come to that. And it's probably good it didn't come to that, because that wouldn't end well for you. Shooting through your windshield at people, that are just at the gas station.
Yeah, they frown on that.
Yeah.
That's hard to explain. But I like that they get in the car and drive away.
Yeah, they left. And I think just a show of force that you're not a victim. Sometimes,
I like that part.
Sometimes that can be enough. That it doesn't have to escalate. I
hope it is, but with the angry mobs, it gets crazy.
Yeah.
And I feel like they look for any opportunity, any sign of weakness,
Right.
When you have your girlfriend who's crying in the passenger seat, or maybe it's your boyfriend crying in the passenger seat.
Or if it's
maybe
you're if it's just the soccer mom driving.
I was just giving it from my perspective. Maybe it's
Right.
Maybe it's, the tough girl who's pointing the gun out the window, and then her husband is sitting in the passenger seat crying like a little baby.
Yeah. No, because I know in this sort of situation, my wife would be writing checks my ass couldn't cash.
You know what my husband's gonna do?
There'd be all sorts of trouble.
He's gonna fight you just be quiet. You, and every one of you.
Oh shit!
They never volunteer themselves though. They're not like, I'm gonna get out and kill. You know what my husband's gonna do?
Yeah. Let me tell you about my husband. You're fucking wrong with the wrong woman. You shut up. You shut your mouth.
Yeah, it sounds right.
All right, so let's say now you're stuck. You can't go forward, can't go back. You
can't get out of the
walking
car.
Up on your car. You don't have a gun.
All right.
Because you live in New York State or some other communist
You're in New
area.
York City, right?
You're stuck. It's just you
and Antifa.
All
right. Now, you know what? If you guys in Antifa are getting a little offended right now, it's just you and the Nazi skinheads.
Mm-hmm.
All right? We'll change it up.
Right. All
right. So now what happens?
All right. Well,
Kevin gets out of the car.
Let me back up a little bit.
Oh.
Let me just say that there's nothing fair about fighting, especially when you're fighting more than one person. It's not like a fist fight and that person, gets their bloody nose and then you end and you go drink beers. That's not how this works out. You're fighting more than one person and they're pissed off. They have adrenaline going. You have adrenaline going. Shit's getting real. And when it comes to a fight, the person that got shot is the person that lost the fight.
That's the rule?
Right. What you want to do is immediately be as violent as possible.
Nice. Violence of action.
As violent as possible, and you hit the person that's talking the most shit first with whatever you got.
The biggest.
We talked about improvised weapons. We talked about, we've done podcasts on that. Maybe you only got your fists. Maybe the idea is not to try and bust their lip with a good left jab, but to kick their kneecap backwards.
Or just grab them by the balls.
Mm-hmm. Biting, nut
Kevin
kicking, none of that stuff. None of that stuff is out of bounds.
No.
You're fighting for your life. That means you do everything you can.
You jab them in the eye with your thumb?
That's right. Stick your thumb in their eye.
Whatever you gotta do.
Exactly. Now, you don't want to. Worst case scenario is you go get down to the ground. Don't let them get you on the ground. Keep your opponents in front of you. Be the first one to hit. You want to be the one that's throwing the first punch. Keep moving. Don't let them get around you. Keep them all in front of you, right? When you hit somebody, hit them as decisively as you can. Put them out of the fight. You've got maybe 5 people you got to fight. Don't fight them over and over again.
No.
Don't give them a black eye and then move on to the next person. Break bones as best as you can. Do as much damage as you can, as fast as you can. And worst case scenario, break out the nunchucks.
Yes. Finally, you're on my team.
Mm-hmm.
Now, the reason Kevin drops this subtle nunchuck disclaimer here is because it turns out, according to Kevin, it is now legal to possess nunchucks in New York State.
That's right. Big court case.
Shall not be infringed,
that's
motherfuckers.
Right. December 12th. It was ruled unconstitutional. There was a ban in New York State on nunchucks. Even possession of nunchucks in your own home.
So
that's right. So
brushing the dust off, breaking out the nunchucks.
Breaking them out. December 12th, a guy named James Maloney was a...
James Maloney.
Was now in the 1970s, Kung Fu
This guy's
Mania.
been freaking fighting the courts since the 1970s.
Well, let me back up, because yes and no.
Okay.
In the 1970s, nunchuck mania was sweeping the nation.
All right.
Kung fu movies with Bruce Lee kicking the shit out of people with nunchucks.
Love it.
Love it. The Chinese Connection, Return of the Dragon, all of them amazing. Kicking ass with nunchucks. So the government in New York State was scared that there were going to be like roving street gangs and muggers that were just going to like start learning how to use nunchucks.
Yes.
And fucking people up. So 1974 it was banned in New York State.
Woo!
Possession, carrying it in public, all that shit was wrong.
So I'm not going to admit to any felonies. Mm-hmm. So don't even try and catch me.
Right.
I'm just saying. But there was a guy who looked like me once.
After December 12th, acquired something.
Went to Chinatown in New York City and was like, hey, I hear nunchucks are illegal, but you can't tell me that you don't sell nunchucks in a martial arts supply store.
Right.
And this guy who looked like me, after he said that, they were like, no nunchucks. Illegal.
He must have been super handsome.
He was handsome, this guy. They were like, those are illegal. No, get out of my store. And I'm like, I mean, the guy who looks...
The guy.
I mean, he looks so much like me, I get confused. It's like, dude, you gotta freaking hook me up with some nunchucks. And they were like, oh, nunchucks. And I was like, yeah, nunchucks. Wait here. Guy comes back. Turns out, the way around it is, I can sell you these 2 sticks and this chain with these 2 brass bells that slide over the end of the sticks. Mm-hmm. And they have this screw hole here and these screws.
Right.
And you can have that, and as long as you never put it together.
Legal.
Mm-hmm. And I was like, oh, I see. This is very interesting. And then that same information would come into play after we had the SAFE Act. Mm-hmm. And I was like, wait, I could take an AR lower and I can buy an AR upper.
And chain them together.
And as long as I don't put them together, it's legal. Mm-hmm. Now you're getting me.
Right. I was looking through a book of the history of small arms.
Yes.
And one of it...
Did it start with...
One of the pictures... One of the things I found... What's that?
Did it start with a
No, not T-Rex. Okay. No, it had a picture and a brief description of 2 flintlock pistols that were chained together at the ends. So you could fire one, fire the other, and then use them as nunchucks. You don't even have to reload.
Yes. Now you're understanding the level of badass.
Right. That's some badass shit
that we've attained right here tonight. Mm-hmm. So, just so you guys know.
Now, I had a friend of mine that, when it comes to fighting large groups of people, reminds me of this story. A friend of mine that I used to work with, he was a biker and was like really like the joy of his life was fucking people up in fist fights. Mm-hmm. And it was just something. I mean, some people are good at it, some people aren't. He was good at it. Now he was a forger as his job. Basically, he forged Native American artifacts and would, make them. Mm-hmm. Apparently, you can take a stone axe blade, make it yourself, put a bunch of pennies in it or with it, and dog shit, wrap it up in leather, and bury it in the ground for 2 years, and it'll come back looking aged, like just like you dug it up out of the ground.
Is the dog shit the key?
Yeah, that's the key. The pennies and the dog shit, that's the key. That's a side note entirely, though. So he was telling me that he was at a bar drinking beer, and there were 4 or 5 rowdy guys next to him, and they were wrestling, and they bumped into him and spilled his pitcher of beer on him. Mm-hmm. And they said, oh, sorry about that. And he said, all right. and he went back to drinking. But when he got done, he went outside, and all 4 of those motherfuckers were out there.
But they spilled his beer.
They spilled his beer on him. But they're waiting. I feel like there might be more to that initial part of the story that I didn't hear. But he said what he did was he gave one guy a quick left jab, kicked the other guy's knee out, then stomped on the head of the person that he gave the left jab to. He said the third guy ran away, and the fourth guy, he grabbed him by the wrist and put his other hand on the back of his head and swung him around and ran his face into a light pole.
Yes.
That's how you handle a large attack. I feel like if I was in that same situation, I would have just got the shit kicked out of me. Some people are badass, though.
Yep.
And they know how to handle those situations.
Well, I do recall being in Turkey, and my friend Kevin, not you.
Different Kevin.
All
right.
He was from Nitro, West Virginia. I don't know if you guys know Kevin in Nitro, West Virginia.
Well, if he's listening, he knows.
He knows who he is. But Kevin, I even tempted to share a little more of his name, but I'm not gonna. Because it just implies what a redneck he is when I tell you his middle name, but we won't go there. But was like, we're in the bar, Turkey. He's like, these motherfuckers are so dumb. I can't believe the Turkish people. They're so stupid. And he's just going on and on.
Because nobody in Turkey speaks English.
The women here are ugly. I don't like it here. They can all go to hell. Blah, blah, blah. Everything was fine when we were in the bar. And then when we go to leave, turns out all these guys are out there waiting for us. And they wanted to have a little fisticuffs of sort. Okay. And I don't really remember all the moves, and I don't know about slamming anybody into a light pole, but I know we both had a lot of bruises and black and blue and bloody lips and black eyes the next morning. Although he looked worse than I did.
Really? All right.
I would say that. I don't mean the Turkish guys. I mean,
you mean
my
your friend
Kevin. Yeah. So I'm just saying that's a thing. If you're ever in Izmir, you might want to not
talk shit about their
talk
women.
Shit unless you're a badass. So now another thing I want to talk about that I missed was Kevin had mentioned the anxiety when you're kind of in your car and people come up and are ready to fight. But they always say you never can prepare somebody mentally for battle.
Right. That's not something you can learn in school.
It's hard to teach, the feelings and whatever. And I was thinking about this and how to describe it to somebody, what it's like to be in a gunfight or the stress of somebody coming up and, dragging you out of your car.
Right.
You think, I'm going to be calm and react and do this and I play these things. Now, you really will greatly improve your odds by playing out scenarios in your head beforehand, doing a little foresight and thinking, all right, if this guy does this, I'm going to do this. Have a plan.
Right.
So it's natural.
Right. Think that will help. Moves ahead like chess.
Don't discredit that. I think that's great. But, I mean, I don't know if everybody's been through this or if it's just me and I'm a wuss or what. But, like, the first time I go to shoot, like, a small animal or something, it's like anxious and my heart's racing fever. And you feel it and you're like, and just kind of, not that you can't do it, you don't, and it's not even like a mental thing, just the anxiety of doing it. It's weird. You get like a feeling. And then the same thing, you go to shoot your first deer and you get that kind of, your heart's like pounding in your chest, like, I'm going to go do this now. Right. And this is the thing. And you go out there. It's kind of like that, it's that anxiety and it changes things and you'll get where, I didn't put the magazine in the gun and, I didn't, rack around in my AR and you just skip stupid steps, and that's why we train. You know, that's why the military is over and over again. And that's why it should be, you know, second nature with you using your gun and your knife and your, you know, different things. You really need to spend time getting familiar, because that anxiety can just really, I don't know, take a toll on you. And then after you do it once, next time is 10 times easier. And the next time it's 10 times easier than that. And it just becomes, you know, comfortable. But it really, when you get in real scenarios, it does. It takes a toll on you. And you really, you know, you need to start pushing your comfort zone.
Right.
And I think, you know, just building up to a level of preparedness that's going to, you know, take you to the next level. But that's about what I have on that.
Mm-hmm.
Now, Kevin did want to point out, we got a package in the mail today.
We did.
Tac Pack sent another luxury box over.
Mm-hmm.
We got a nice neck knife.
Yeah. Now, I wanted to mention, I got an email earlier this week about neck knives. One of the people that emailed in was talking about a car accident that their friend was in that was wearing a neck knife. And
it happened to line up with the seatbelt.
Lined up with a seatbelt. Broke his sternum. So just pay attention when you got those neck knives on. You know, pull it on the outside of your seatbelt.
One more thing in there. Just be aware. They also have a nice SOG multi-tool.
There was a multi-tool in there. Yep.
So
Chuck and I had to fist fight for it.
Little fist fight.
There's a hang tough target, which looks pretty interesting, honestly.
We're gonna have to do some shooting.
Yeah, talked Chuck and let me keep that at my house. There's a Christmas
Kevin
patch.
thought he needed to up the toughness level at his house.
That's right. There needs to be a little bit more man shit going on at my house. There's a Christmas patch that came in too. You'll shoot your eye out with an AR-15 on it.
But it's all wrapped up in Christmas
It's wrapped
paper.
up in Christmas present. The perfect present for anybody on your wish list.
Nice. That or whiskey.
Mm-hmm.
Or in my case, if you're thinking of me, I actually like Southern Comfort. But, you know, hey, I'm not as hard as the rest of you guys. But, you know, what can I tell you?
All right. So there's always some interesting stuff that comes in with the tac packs, and I think the value is always worth more than what you're paying for it. So it's definitely something you want.
The cool thing, when you maybe sign up to give somebody a Christmas present, that's Santa. The cool thing. You can do it the last minute. You're like, oh shit, it's Christmas Eve, and I didn't get my husband or my wife something for their AR-15. What am I going to do?
Right.
Wait, just log into Tac Pack, sign up, and bam, they're going to start off the new year every month.
You're right.
New box.
With a gun map.
And then
with the
all
gun map,
year, they're going to be like, you know what? My significant other really loves me.
It's the gift that keeps on giving.
That was the thing. If you use the code BADASS, this is why Kevin said with a gun mat, you get a free Tac Pack gun cleaning mat. Now, it comes separate, but it will come. Mm-hmm. And when it doesn't, I don't know, just send them some hate mail and they'll work that shit out.
Yeah, you can send us hate mail too. We'll
whatever, you know. Also, you guys may want to head over to iTunes or wherever you're listening to this fine podcast and maybe leave a review. Another thing, if you heard our interview last week with Chris from The Beard Show, he pointed out that his bartender said, you know, hey, you know, here's a cool podcast you could check out. Maybe you want to share this podcast with your friends. Or maybe you're a bartender
and you want to tell
you want to tell everybody who comes into your bar. You know what? You really shouldn't be in the bar right now. You should be at home listening to your iPod.
What kind of bartender is that telling people to go home?
No.
That's not. Listen to it in the bar.
Now you're thinking that's going to bring the customers in. You put this shit over the stereo. You're thinking, oh, but I like to play Kiss.
I understand that. I understand where you're coming from. But maybe you're 3 tequilas in and you think that starting a fight with everybody in the bar is a good idea. And now you're happy you listen to this podcast because you know how to handle it.
I don't even know where to go.
I honestly, I don't drink tequila. I'm allergic to it. I break out in handcuffs.
Yeah, it turns out. Yeah, I've seen you drink a little bit of tequila. It turns out
it always goes bad.
You drink a lot more tequila than I do. I know that. Another thing you might want to consider, you don't have to just be a bartender. You could tell people about this podcast in any job.
Right.
You know, I go to people's houses and do repairs. I don't say shit. But if you did go to people's houses, you could tell them about it.
Yeah. Now, what we really are looking for is some reviews. The more reviews we have, the higher we're ranked. So if you guys could just go on iTunes or Stitcher, wherever you listen, and leave a review, we'd be happy with that. If you guys want to email us at preppingbadass@gmail.com. I always answer the emails. I always like when I get emails from people that are listening to the podcast. It makes me realize I'm not just talking to myself. And if you want to go to Patreon.
If he was just talking to me, I'm looking at my phone, I'm doing whatever.
He's on his own thing. He's doing his own thing. Glassy-eyed, not paying attention.
Yawning, whatever. Yep. So, Patreon, you say?
Patreon.
Patreon.com/preppingbadass.
And if you donate to Patreon, if you become a monthly subscriber, you get a dope-ass Prepping Badass patch.
And speaking of Patreon and dope-ass patches, actually, I got an email that we got a new Patreon subscriber who pledged $10 a month. Now, I'm almost afraid to say it out loud because he might be like, oh, shit, I meant $1?
Yeah.
And he might go back and fix that.
I was drinking tequila, and...
But I'm just saying there's someone out there named Chase who made a serious commitment to the Survival and Basic Badass podcast today. And I'm wondering maybe why haven't you? That's what I'm saying. So with that, stay safe, and we will talk to you guys next week.
The Survival and Basic Badass podcast is a proud member of the Self-Defense Radio Network.
Planning a fishing trip shouldn't feel like a full-time job. With FishingBooker.com, you can find and book the perfect fishing trip within minutes. FishingBooker.com connects you with trusted fishing captains around the world. Booking is fast, easy, and secure, with access to verified customer reviews, loyalty rewards, and around-the-clock customer support. Everything you need to book with confidence is in one place. So head to FishingBooker.com and start planning your next fishing adventure today.